What's up, everybody? It's Naztradamix, and I'm here to review Power Ranger movie. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, on YouTube, you know how excited I was for this movie, but I also was very, very scared because the excitement can lead to much disappointments, as other iterations have proven its case. Now, I wanted this movie to be really good, but in the sense of it's just good enough, like it delivered what it needed to deliver. And I think that was the expectations of a lot of people going in to see the Power Ranger movie. It was just like, it's Power Rangers, it looks fun, let's go see this movie. What we all weren't expecting of was how good it was. Now, not to say anything that it's freaking like it doesn't have some of its flaws. It does, and I will point them out, but they do not outweigh just how damn great this movie is. This video is gonna be spoilerific. I'm sorry. There's no way for me to try to get in there without being spoiler free. I would try not to be. I try to dig so deep into it, but for me to dig it in and try to break it down as to why Power Rangers is a good adaptation, it's gonna have to like fucking scratch and unveil some stuff. Kick it off, there's a lot of reasons why, and a majority of the fact is just the build up to the suits. Now, I don't think it's no freaking secret that they don't become Power Rangers until the very end of the show, or so that's how Mighty Morphin used to work. You saw them fight putties as themselves, and then towards the end you see them fight as Power Rangers, beat some putties, beat the monster, they grow, they get the Zords, they fight the monsters. It's just how it goes. I'm gonna do a lot of comparisons as to why this movie is such a great adaptation of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but not just the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, in Power Rangers in general. Here's some of the key facts, okay? Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is always something that even the actors themselves, as a kid, we didn't care. It was just them, they're there, alright, cool, they're great, these are great characters, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, as long as you watched it, you started to see a development and whatever. And the people who had the best character development in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was Billy, Bulk, and Skull. It's just how it is. Billy was just a little nerd who couldn't defend himself, who just has low self-esteem and was the school geek, who ended up being a freaking handsome devil who was able to fight his own battles, and who at a point wasn't even a ranger and was like almost like the Zordon mentor below Zordon of the Power Rangers. Billy was that nigga. And in this movie, Billy is, well, I don't want to say that nigga, but Billy is that dude. And then Bulk and Skull, and the transformation from being bullies to being what intentionally they really wanted to be, were heroes. And you saw the transformation of being the school punks to being the freaking security guards, to being cops, to being their own heroes, to not being bullies anymore, to standing up for the little dude, to even having a fight and breaking out gladiators in the Machine Empire when they were caught prisoners along with freaking Tommy, and they helped gladiators break out of their prison. It's a beautiful sight. I'm telling you, people, like, I saw reviews of Power Rangers, the movie, done by people who are like, oh, I used to watch Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin. Like, no, bitch, you cannot review this movie from, okay, you can review it from just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but someone like me, some real fan who knows Power Rangers in truth all the way through till today, can tell you just how much of a big deal and greatness this movie is. The movie starts off kind of like changing the mythology of Power Ranger, but not so much. The movie starts off on Earth in a xenophobic era or whatever, kind of when dinosaurs were around. Starts off then. A big battle happened. There's a Red Ranger crawling on the floor. There's shit flying over, crashing down. There's another Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, and he's crawling over to him, speaking in different dialect. It's all subtitled, dope ass subtitles. and that Ranger dies, and then this Ranger, Red Ranger, is speaking some stuff saying that he's gonna put these coins away and for them to find worthy opponents to take after. And then the suit comes off. It's fucking Zordon of Eltar, and over him, standing over him, is a Green Ranger. We know it's Rita, and she's all like, motherfucker, it's world's mine. He's all like, fuck you, bitch. And then he tells Alpha to send a meteor, and the meteor crash, and that's what kills the fucking dinosaurs. It was technically Zordon defending the world. Rita wants the Zeo Crystals. Zeo Crystals is something that wasn't introduced until like the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that actually led the Power Rangers to getting becoming the Zeo Rangers from the Zeo Crystals. Does this mean that the movie plans on using the Zeo Crystals to make them into Zeo Rangers in later iterations? I fucking hope so. Now, where the movie really fucking shines is in these characters. Every single one of them have character development, backstory, two-dimensional, maybe even three-dimensional. It's just, we're not just seeing like, oh, I know martial arts, oh, I know gymnastics, oh, I'm the smart guy, oh, I'm the preppy girl. No, it's none of that. They are real characters. These characters make you tear up. From the reaction of the people online, they've been going crazy about like, oh shit, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I got the feels, this and that. There's really important moment in the movie that bands the whole team together finally. That also bands the team, not just the 5 teenagers, but the 5 teenagers and Zordon together, because they were conflicting throughout the whole time. Now, Zordon and the Power Rangers TV show was always like the master, the grandfather, the one who put the team together, the one who was always like inspirational and telling them to do that. They always looked at him as a father figure. In this movie, he's the father figure, but he earns that title, okay? He doesn't become that great of a freaking leader in the beginning. There's conflicting ideas, you know. There is a true father and son kind of thing between Zordon and Jason, you know. I want to be spoilerific, but I don't want to be spoilerific. But anyways, this defining moment, this one moment in which the whole team plus Zordon all get together over something very, very serious. This is the moment that people were like, whoa, the feels came out. And before that, there was a pitiful, a very defining moment, a campfire moment where they're all revealing themselves. And Zach tells a story that to me, it's very, very, very close and important that I can relate to. This is stuff that didn't happen in the show. Alright, this is like fucking defining stuff. The movie shined in the characters themselves, and then it just fucking goes all out when they become Power Rangers. Now, when it gets to that point, I loved it, and then I was like, I mean, it could have been more. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything happened at the end. I wanted to see Power Rangers get down with the fisticuffs and the fucking ninja skills and blah, blah, blah. And they did. Freaking spotlight was when they got into the Zords. And man, when they got into the Zords, it was beautiful, because at that key moment, when they got into the Zords and they're rushing out into Angel Grove, and the shot was just on par with the TV show shot of the Zords just rushing out in the fucking desert lands or whatever shit. Just that shot, dude, the nostalgic factor was just on high, you know. And I can guarantee you, I speak for everybody, that when that moment happened, there were a lot of applauses, there were a lot of happy, like, little kids inside of us all like, yeah, because look, I've been to the theaters twice to see this movie, and the crowd reactions has been the same every single time for all these moments that I'm talking about, especially the big defining moment in which the team finally gets together. Oh man, oh my god, I want to tell you, just go out there and see the movie already. One of my flaws with the movie was, you know, like I said, there wasn't enough like Rangers fighting putties and shit like that. There was a lot of Zord action, but there wasn't enough Rangers fighting putties, so my expectation was really high for that, but it went down. But that's okay, because this is just an origin movie, okay? So the sequel needs to really fucking put it up there, especially since we're gonna have a Green Ranger, and that's no secret, because we already kind of freaking predict that the setup would be a Green Ranger. That's what I predicted. I was like, okay, the first movie's got to be this, but the sequel has to be Green with Evil. The entire fucking 5-part episode has to be put into one movie. Green with Evil has to be it. The Green Ranger is the defining freaking, like everybody remembers, it was the biggest damn event back in the 90s along with the freaking X-Men animated series Phoenix Saga. It was the biggest freaking event. Everybody was talking about it. Green with evil. Who's the Green Ranger? Who's this Green Ranger? Oh snap, he's the Green Ranger. He's fucking them up. He got in the Zord and punched them out the Zord. And then he teamed up with them. And then the whole story after that about... that's what the third movie could be about. How he's about to lose his powers and whatnot. And then he becomes the White Ranger. Oh shit. The Power Rangers really shine in the fact of the character development throughout the whole movie. Just from the opening scene that I told you about, where we find out that Zordon was a Red Ranger and his team died and Rita was the cause of it, and she was the Green Ranger. We go straight to Jason, and he's pulling off a prank, and Jason, of course, is like the jock. They play their parts perfectly, but some characters are different, and I will get to them, and this is why this movie shines. Jason the jock, he's pulling a prank, and the cops come, he's trying to get a chase, and there's this great long wide take within his car while he's in his pickup trying to get away from the cops, and there's just this long wide take that totally goes full 360 degrees while he's in there. It's beautifully shot, and it kind of, I guess, for me, the movie was, the tone was set from the beginning of where Zordon as a ranger and whatnot, but then this one really kind of set the tone of what these characters will be like. After we introduced to Jason, we're introduced to Billy, and Billy is a kid that's on the spectrum, or in other words, he's autistic, and that's like, whoa, that's pretty cool, you know. He's on his own thing, and he thinks a mile a minute, and he's very awkward and weird, but Jason stands up for him, which is exactly how it is in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Jason stands up. Now, it's good to see that these characters are all like righteous and whatnot, but they're not like in your face righteous like in the cartoon, in the TV show, where it was all, hey, you know, we're doing this for the environment, it's cool, we're doing this for the environment, the community, blah blah blah. No, like these kids are rebels. They're really teenagers with attitude, and they're rebellious, but they have hearts. They're not perfect, but damn, did I just spin the camera? Well, there's even a conversation between Jason and Kimberly, how he tells him, like, look, just because you've done one bad thing doesn't make you a bad person. It's just what, you know, you're a good person. It's just what you do, and that's true, you know that. And I believe that for everybody. Look, I've done some bad things, and I know people have done some bad things, but that doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that we've made bad mistakes, but we're actually good people, and we can do great things, and we just have to live past that and just be better. That's all it is. That's all life can be, you know. There's some really, really bad people who deserve really bad things to them, but there's some people who done some bad thing that do not deserve bad things to them, okay? And I don't wish that upon anybody. After we meet Jason and Billy, we also meet Kimberly, and Kimberly is, you know, she's done something wrong and she's trying to get past through it. So Kimberly plays her part very well. We meet Zach, and Zach really revealed. Zach so far right now is just the cocky kind of dude, the really bad boy. But later on we find out that Zach has a really soft spot, and it's something, like I said, that's really close to me. Trini is something totally different from what the TV show is. You know, she's still very strong and whatnot and stuff like that, but she's an outsider. She's the outsider of the crew. She's really, really, like the movie we already seen from the trailer takes a lot from the Breakfast Club. There's all these people, the jock, the outsider, the nerd, a bad boy. It's like to the T, the Power Rangers. But you know what? That's how high school life is. They took Breakfast Club and they throw it into a Power Ranger, just like they took the fucking Saved by the Bell and they threw it into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's just the same shit. It's just what it is. This movie had influence from the Breakfast Club, Chronicles. Rita's moments are like horror movies. I mean, Trini is not just an outcast, but she's also a gay character. Spoiler alert. We have an autistic kid, a bad boy, a rebel, a girl trying to deal with something that she's not proud of, a jock trying to like deal with all the pressure that the school and town is putting on them, and a gay character who is trying to deal with the pressure put on her to try to be normal. All these 5 characters get together and become heroes, and then you have Zordon, who, like I said, doesn't actually just become like the Zordon of the TV show. Like, this guy, not only, he's selfish at first. He's very selfish at first. And Alpha 5, Look, I knew the moment that Bill Hader was cast as the voice, I'm gonna love Alpha 5, and Alpha 5 really did well. Actually, the first time you see Alpha 5, it's kind of scary because he's kind of threatening, in a sense. Not threatening like very threatening. It's just the way it was shot and taken and dealt with, it was kind of like, it was kind of threatening. Man, I'm telling you, like this moment that they all become a team before they freaking finally morph and go on and take on Rita, and dude, there's so many freaking nods and fan service. Rita saying "Make my monster grow." There's morphin' time, of course, being said. The freaking theme, the cameos. I don't know what to say, guys. It's a great movie, and all around, everybody that's been watching it, who had very low expectations, who talked very much shit about it, are loving it, and that's how it is. To see this movie with an audience of people who grew up watching the TV show and freaking loving what they see, and the way they're reacting to very important moments, defining moments, it's great, dude. It's great. Like, seriously, it went past my expectation. Now, to talk about the things that I didn't like, of course, like I said, they weren't Rangers long enough kicking ass. Okay, they were more on the Zords and whatnot. I didn't like that there's scenes taken out. There's some deleted scenes taken out. I don't like that the fact that they don't use a morpher to freaking morph. Hopefully that'll change in the sequel. So what's the point of selling morphers in the fucking toy store if there's actually no morpher? I mean, there's morphers on them, but they don't use the morphers and go as morphin' time and shit like that. My biggest flaw probably is that it's all rushed at the end, but it's like it just works. Just works, guys. There's a lot of things that they grab from other shows, like the fact that the Power Rangers have powers, super strength, and all that stuff outside of being morph was taken from other shows like Ninja Storm, I think, and such. Dino Thunder. I think Dino Thunder, really. Yeah, Dino Thunder. The visors being removed also came from like Ninja Storm. The visors were removed and show their faces. Scene where someone called us, they were naming the streets on Angel Grove, and it was Mariner Bay and Reefside. Yeah, Reefside, and those were two cities actually in Power Rangers, the universe of Power Rangers, and other seasons. I think Mariner Bay was Lightspeed Rescue, and Reefside was, I don't know if that's where the other Adam and, no, they came from Rock something. Reefside was some other city. Like, these people who made the movie knew the show, knew the lore, knew the mythology, and really like put a lot of effort into it, you know. Like, there's thought. Like, it was like a fan like me who made the movie or something. If it wasn't for the character development and the freaking defining moment in the command center involving all the characters and one of the characters, then this movie would not have worked out very well. It would just been like boom bam bam, and then probably would have been alright. But it's just these two little things. There's a campfire scene and the defining moment before they become Power Rangers. These are the two scenes that is like, oh shit. And then Rita. Alright, let's talk about Rita. Elizabeth Banks, we all love Elizabeth Banks, and she was like, she was getting her inner Rita on, and Rita was not just like, no, you know, she was. There was a lot of but it wasn't that it was her being like menacing and evil. Like, the action was good, the humor, the mythology, the characters, it all fit in very well, and it got cheesy when it needed to get cheesy. When they became Power Rangers, there was all that back and forth banter that Power Rangers was very famous for when they're in their suits, and it's just good flick, guys. Like, I'm very happy about what happened here. Okay, the score, the movie score is freaking great. It's like epic freaking music. When they finally morph and they walk out that command center all G-like, and that score hits, dude, forget about it. Forget about it. This movie just, oh, can't wait to own it on Blu-ray. It's a great movie. If you had any freaking, look, I know, I'm the guy who likes everything. Look, I'll let you know if something really sucks. I'll let you know if it's alright. I saw Triple X 3 and it was okay. It wasn't like all that. it wasn't all that jazz. I saw Get Out and I really liked it. I mean, I see how everybody fucking going crazy over it. I really love the TSA character and whatnot. This one is just like, it's the first time that the source material has been taken and has been handled very well. I'm not talking about that freaking internet one short that made it super dark, which I liked. It was cool, but that would not be the Power Ranger movie I would want. I don't want it to be super dark. I need it to be just realistic enough, have heart, have the cheesiness from the movie, but still be kind of dark, you know, and not crazy dark. It should be like this movie was. And the movie is PG-13. There's a lot of cursing. There's Power Rangers saying shits. There's Power Rangers almost saying motherfucker, but they don't say it. It's good stuff. I highly recommend it. You know, this is not just my word for it. I want you to go on Twitter and freaking just hashtag Power Rangers movie and see what people's tweets are about this movie, because look, the critics are not the ones you should listen to. It's the people themselves. Not all of them though. There's gonna be a few that don't get it. There's gonna be a few that do not understand the greatness that it is, but everybody in my circle here and in other states all agree this movie is freaking fantastic. This movie was the Power Ranger movie we didn't know we wanted and we got. And I just can't wait to see what comes next. With a 6-movie freaking arc already planned, the possibilities are endless. And with all the iterations of Power Rangers that have been made, they got a lot to play with. And if they handle the source as well as it did right now, then we got some hopeful stuff. I give it, I eat it, I beat it. Alright, so go see Power Rangers the movie, and if you don't see it, well then that sucks for you, man, but awesome movie. So deuces and stay more phenomenal, affirmative and all that.